Dear Taurus, if you could only see what I see in the steady depths of your spirit today, you would never again question the sacred whisper of your own intuition. There is a subtle stagnation you've been sensing for a very long time. Not an overt monster, but a quiet thief of vitality, who moves through the halls of your life disguised as comfort or unchanging routine. This is the one who wears a mask of harmless familiarity, yet harbors a dense, clinging energy of inertia, a subtle drain dripped into the well of your peace, one accepted predictability at a time. It doesn't raise its voice. It has no need for overt conflict. Its power is in the quiet resistance to change, the carefully maintained status quo, the silent complacency you feel in your bones long after you've considered a new path. It is an attempt to keep you anchored to what is simply familiar, to keep you stable enough to be controlled by the known. But then, I saw something else. I saw a brilliant dawn breaking not around you, but within you. A vast field of light, cultivated in the silent gardens of your own self-worth, is beginning to push through the cracks of that old reality. This is not merely a horoscope reading. Dear Taurus, this is a letter addressed to the very core of your soul. So before we journey deeper, I invite you to join this sacred space. Take a moment to like this video, share it with another soul who may need this light, and subscribe to become a part of our community. And when you are ready, affirm this with me in the comments below. I am reclaiming the steady ground of my authentic self. Stay with me until the final word, because the truth that is unfolding within you is not a fleeting moment. It is a profound awakening that promises to redefine your entire existence. If you leave now, you risk missing the very key that unlocks the comfort zone you never realized had become a cage. Be honest with yourself now, in this quiet moment. Hasn't it always been true that the deepest discomforts were never inflicted by sharp words, but by the subtle ache of your own intuition being ignored? Those moments when you sensed the need for a shift, yet you chose to stick with the familiar, to rationalize, to tell yourself, it's stable, I'm just being too adventurous. You have grown far too accustomed to tolerating stagnation just to keep a fragile peace, clinging to what's known even when it no longer serves your growth. But this is not a sign of weakness. Please, hear me when I say this. It is evidence of your origin story. You had to learn to build security in an environment where stability was often tangled with rigidity, where comfort was conditional, and where your dependable nature made others feel too comfortable in their own inertia. You learned that to be loved was to be unmoving, to be predictable, to never rock the boat. The most dangerous part was never the other person's attempt to hold you back. It was that you learned to accept it as normal. You began to believe that maintaining the peace at all costs was an act of kindness to others, when in truth, it was an act of subtle betrayal to yourself. You were not born to merely maintain the comfort of others, dear Taurus. You were born to be an anchor of strength and beauty, and an anchor never apologizes for being firmly rooted. There is something you know, deep in the marrow of your being, that you have never dared to speak aloud. A feeling that something is not quite fulfilling behind the curtain of polite appearances. This isn't paranoia, it is a pattern of evidence your soul has been collecting. The sleepless nights that arrive for no reason, leaving you staring into the darkness with a racing heart, wondering if there's more. The heavy blanket of inertia that descends when you need to make a decision, as if an invisible force is keeping you rooted. The profound, nameless fatigue that settles in your bones, even when your life appears perfectly stable on the surface. No, this is not random. It is an energetic interference. There is someone, perhaps from your past or still lingering in your present, who is subtly relying on your steadfastness, projecting their own fears of change onto your path. They do not need to speak directly. They are masters of subtle expectation. They will not confront you, but their presence will create an atmosphere designed to keep you from shifting or growing. They will not criticize you to your face, but they will subtly discourage any new ventures that threaten the established order. Their very presence is a dense fog that seeks to obscure your clarity and keep you comfortable but confined. And in the face of this, you have asked yourself 1,000 times, is there something wrong with me for wanting more? Let the answer echo through every cell of your being. Nothing is wrong with you. You are simply beginning to connect with an inner desire for growth and beauty that they cannot comprehend. And they have not yet learned to honor a spirit they cannot control. And when a truth this potent can no longer be contained, the universe itself begins to intervene. Karma does not arrive like a clap of thunder. It unfolds in the quiet, undeniable unraveling of all that is built on stagnation. You do not need to seek revenge. A steady mountain has no quarrel with the shifting winds it withstands. You only need to stand in your truth and understand this. When a soul chooses to live with a pure and grounded heart, the cosmos will not allow them to fall into perpetual confinement. Every silent act, every unaddressed expectation, echoes back to its source. No one can find peace when their own inertia becomes a relentless accuser. What they have done will return to them, not as a punishment from above, but as the unbearable weight of their own choices, a burden no one else can carry. You may witness them begin to lose the comfort they sought to impose. You may see the routines they so carefully constructed begin to crumble, for a house built on inertia has no foundation. And when the illusion of comfort finally falls, no one will need to point a finger. Their own emptiness will be the only truth left standing. When you live from a place of integrity, with steadfastness as your compass and authenticity as your language, you cultivate a silent, unshakable strength. It is a fortress of grounded light that stagnation cannot penetrate. You have nothing to prove. Your only task is to remain true, for authentic stability needs no volume to be felt. Others may be swayed by the patterns they follow, but no one can make you doubt yourself unless you hand them the power to do so. Have you ever felt the chilling touch of subtle expectation or resistance from someone you once held dear? Have you ever had to silently retreat from a connection because your soul screamed stagnation, even when your mind had no logical proof? Share your story with me. Let your experience become a beacon for someone else who is still navigating that same fog. Your truth is a medicine. And if you have ever looked at your life, at the comfortable ruts you carry, and wondered, how am I still standing firm? Listen closely now. From the moment of your birth, you were bestowed a gift that few possess. It is something others may try to imitate, but can never truly replicate. It is the gift of grounded intuition. This is not a skill you learned. It is a sacred inheritance woven into your spiritual DNA. You sense the truth that lives behind people's assurances. You feel the unspoken resistance to growth in a room. You know instinctively who is genuinely stable and who is simply stuck, not because you are suspicious, but because you were sent to this world to be a guardian of authentic foundation in an age of profound uncertainty. And that, dear Taurus, is precisely why they can never truly control you. It is why their attempts to hold you back ultimately fail, and why their efforts to keep you small only serve to awaken you further. This awakening is not just the beginning of a new chapter. It is the beginning of a whole new book. The moment you started to sense that something was off, the sacred guardians around you began to speak more clearly, not in words, but in vibrations you could not logically explain. The whisper in the wind that felt like a nudge, the silent pounding in your chest when you walked into a room, and the energy felt stagnant. Since you were a child, you have been divinely protected. There were moments of near stagnation that mysteriously averted. Routines that confined others but gently shifted for you, not out of sheer luck, but because an invisible force intervened. Perhaps you do not consciously believe in angels, ancestors, or guardian spirits, but your soul has never doubted their presence. Your soul remembers. It has felt them in your dreams, in the unexplainable feeling of being held when you were feeling stuck alone, in the sudden warmth that bloomed in your chest just as you felt you were about to give up your position. These are not coincidences. This is the luminous halo you carry, invisible to most, but palpable to all. And it is this very light that makes those who carry stagnant energy hesitate. They may not understand why they feel a sense of unease in your presence, or why every attempt to keep you in place is met with a mysterious force that gently nudges you forward. They do not know that you do not walk alone. They are unaware that while they hold to old patterns, there is an entire legion of light standing behind you, working tirelessly to keep you aligned with your highest path of grounded growth. You may not see them, but they are there. As gentle as the steady growth of a tree, as silent as the practical choice you make when you have nothing left to hold on to. They are not here to solve your problems for you. They are here to remind you that you are worthy of true abundance, that you are deserving of evolving peace, and that you are loved, not for what you provide, not for your steadfastness, but simply because you are. As long as you remember this fundamental truth, you can never truly be lost. Perhaps someone in your past convinced you that you were too rigid or too slow, simply for valuing consistency. Perhaps you were told you were too materialistic, too stubborn, too resistant. But now you see the truth. Don't you, Taurus? Your steadfastness is not a weakness. It is a sacred language of the soul that not everyone is grounded enough to understand. If you have ever felt too deliberate to belong, remember this. You were not born to rush. You were born to elevate the frequency of this world with your calm, authentic, and truly enduring presence. You are moving through one of the most challenging yet powerful transits of your life. This is no longer the time to close your eyes and pretend. This is the time to open them wide to the truth. Even if it makes you feel unsettled, it is time to rise, not to retaliate, but to face all that you have endured and make a conscious choice. To forgive, yes, but to never again allow the pattern of stagnation to repeat. And there is something crucial you must hear now. A ghost from your past is preparing to return. Someone who was a catalyst for one of your deepest periods of feeling stuck or unappreciated. It may have been a comfort zone that was never fully defined, or a connection you once believed you could not live without. They will reappear, perhaps in a dream, so vivid it feels real. A memory that strikes like lightning, or a seemingly innocent message that appears on your screen. They will speak a language of familiarity. They will tell you they miss the way things were, that they finally understand their mistakes, that they regret everything. But you must ask yourself, is this truth? Or is this the universe sending you a final examination to see if you have truly learned to choose growth and self-worth? This return will not be loud or dramatic. It will be subtle, delicate, as if trying to bypass your conscious defenses. An unexpected text late at night, a familiar comfort food appearing, a dream that leaves you with the ghost of their presence upon waking. They will use the golden light of nostalgia and predictability to unlock the door to your heart, the very heart they once constrained. They will not ask for forgiveness with accountability, but with a look of quiet longing designed to melt your resolve to move forward. But my dear, this is not a test of your capacity to love them. This is a test of your capacity to love yourself. A part of you, the part that was taught that love means endurance and that loyalty is the highest virtue, may feel a familiar pull. But you are no longer the person you were. You no longer live from your comfort zones. You live from your wisdom. And your wisdom knows this truth. If someone truly values you, they do not need to stifle you to recognize your worth. True love does not require you to sacrifice your growth for its survival. Perhaps they have changed. People can and do grow, but not everyone who changes has earned the right to return to your sacred space. Forgiveness is the gift you give yourself to release the energetic chains. Trust, however, is a privilege they must earn back, and you are under no obligation to offer them that chance. If, this time, you say no not from a place of bitterness, but from a place of profound self-respect, that is the moment the ancestral cycle of stagnation is broken. You may still feel affection for them. There may be nights when the ache of missing the familiar is a physical presence in your room, but your strength is not measured by your ability to forget them. It is measured by your unwavering choice not to return to a place where you once lost your forward momentum. And when you finally close that door with both love and finality, you will feel a great exhale from the depths of your soul. It is the sound of a prisoner, long accustomed to their cell, finally realizing it was never truly locked. That is the moment the universe begins to open a new door. A door through which someone will walk, not to complete you, but to walk beside you. Not to control you, but to witness you build and thrive. Another kind of love is coming, Taurus, but it can only enter when your hands are no longer clinging to the past. As you step away from that old, looping narrative, you will notice miraculous shifts. Opportunities you thought were gone forever will reappear, not with force, but with a gentle invitation. Are you ready to truly cultivate this time? You have perhaps always felt one step behind, that the depth of your grounded heart was never truly seen or valued at the right time. But the universe never forgets a soul that operates from loyalty and genuine effort. The prayers you whispered into your pillow, the ones you thought were lost to the wind, were silently guiding you to this very turning point. You do not need to rush. You do not need to shout your worth from the rooftops. True talent, born from a humble and authentic heart, speaks for itself. And you have this within you, a gift so unique that when you engage with it, you do not feel drained. You feel deeply at peace. It might be something you once dismissed as a simple hobby, something you thought everyone could do. But in truth, when you do it, it carries a healing vibration. You may have hidden it, belittled it, or pushed it aside because life demanded practicality, but you can no longer pretend. This is not just a passion, it is your calling. You were not born to merely survive an exhausting routine, trading your soul's health for external comfort. You were born to use that gift, whether it is creating tangible beauty, building stable foundations, nurturing growth, or simply a presence that reminds people of what true groundedness feels like. And the miracle is this: the moment you begin to give the very thing you were created to give, the universe will begin to return to you what you once thought was impossible. The right people will appear. Invitations will arrive not from networking, but from divine synchronicity and abundance. Something you may have worried about to the point of exhaustion will cease to be a battle. It will become a flow, not a flood, but just enough to live your truth without ever having to sacrifice your essence again. From this day forward, remember this sacred law. Your energy is your most precious currency. Stop investing it in people, places, and situations that leave you feeling depleted. Do not continue to pour your light into spaces that have chosen to remain stagnant. You only water the gardens you wish to see grow. This is not selfishness. It is the wisdom of a soul who has learned that not everyone is worthy of the pure, consistent energy you carry. Begin with small acts of devotion to yourself. A blank page in a journal, a day free from the noise of constant demands, one simple no to something that feels heavy on your spirit. Each small act is a declaration to the universe. I am ready to live as my true self. When you walk from a place of wholeness, not of lack, every step you take and every word you speak will carry a new vibration. You will no longer need to try to be seen, because you will have become the very grounded light that others are instinctively drawn to. And the most beautiful part has not even arrived yet. The signals from the unseen world are growing stronger, and your intuition is awakening to a depth you have never known. Truth does not always come in words. It often arrives in the mystical theater of your dreams. You have dreamt of being rooted in old houses, of standing before solid doors that will not open, and have woken with a feeling you cannot name, a bittersweet ache, a sense of being called to a more vibrant reality. Your soul has never stopped speaking to you. Life was simply too entrenched for you to hear its silent messages. Every time you dream of earth or solid ground, it is unaddressed stability seeking its true form. Water is unhealed, emotion seeking release. Doors, keys, and endless hallways are signals that your soul is ready to transition to new foundations. Dreams are the maps your intuition draws while your conscious mind is asleep. You, who have always been so deeply connected to the tangible and practical, understand this better than anyone. You do not need to learn to communicate with the universe from an external source. You are the universe in expression. You only need to return to stillness, to become like a fertile field, to see the reflection of the truth that has always been there. Repeating numbers, a meaningful glance from a stranger, a song playing at the exact moment you were about to give up, these are not coincidences. They are love letters from the divine. A soul as awakened as yours can no longer pretend not to hear. Once you have opened your eyes this wide, you can never go back to sleep. You will begin to sense things others miss. You may find it difficult to explain why someone feels stagnant or subtly demanding, even if they appear charming. You may feel a need to withdraw from a conversation because the energy leaves you feeling hollowed out. Do not doubt this feeling. Your intuition does not require logical proof. It only requires your trust. You have lived long enough to know that this inner compass, once dismissed as stubbornness, is the only thing that has kept you standing firmly. The moment you begin to live from this place of awakened intuition, you will stop chasing external validation. You will no longer need to ask for directions, because you will know the way, not through logic, but through the deep, unshakable peace that settles within you when a choice is correct. That calm is your answer. Anything that brings you peace can never lead you astray. Old relationships will quietly close. New pathways will naturally open. You don't need anyone to save you. You were never so broken that you required an outside force to define your worth. And yet, it is also true that you have yearned for a love that could walk beside you, not to fix you, but to witness you. Not to fill a void, but to share in the fullness of life. And the miracle is, when you are no longer clinging to anyone out of a fear of being alone or ungrounded, the door will open for the one who truly resonates. They will not arrive with a thunderous declaration, but with a quiet presence that allows you to finally breathe and think, I no longer have to pretend to be perfectly strong to be loved. They will not be drawn to your polished exterior, but to your soft, authentic, perfectly imperfect, beautiful core. They will not make your heart race with anxiety, but they will make it slow down with a profound sense of peace. Because with them, you will not have to shrink, to edit, or to perform. You will realize that true love does not begin with dramatic proclamations, but with a steady gaze that says, you don't have to be anything other than who you are right now. This time, you will love not with the fear of loss, but with a heart that has been cracked open and has allowed the light to pour in. Even if they have not yet arrived, you can smile, because you are no longer willing to fill the sacred space in your heart with the wrong energy. You have walked through your own storm, and from where you now stand, you can see that a love worth having will never ask you to trade your inner light for its survival. You have spent a lifetime holding steadfast, Taurus, trying to find a place where you fit, believing that if you were just consistent enough, reliable enough, or worked hard enough, you would finally earn the security and acceptance you craved. But the more you held on to external stability, the more rooted you became, because you were holding in the wrong direction. You were chasing external certainty when the only homecoming you ever needed was the one back to yourself. Now, you are stopping. Not because you are giving up, but because you are finally listening to a different call. The call of your purpose. Not a grand, ostentatious mission, but the simple, profound truth of the stable, beautiful energy you were born to share with this world. It is that quiet thing that brings you joy, that you can do for hours without tiring. The gift that people have always thanked you for. That is the key. Dare to believe in it. Dare to take one small, deliberate step and watch as the universe rearranges itself to support you. Don't wait to be perfect. Begin from your most authentic vibration. You have walked through fire and chosen to remain grounded. That is not weakness. That is the purest form of strength. And for that reason, you no longer have to fight for your worth. The universe validated it the moment you chose to embody your light. So now, place your hand on your heart. Take a deep, slow breath and speak to your soul. I am no longer afraid of change, for I am my own steady ground. I no longer need to be chosen, for I have chosen the path that truly aligns with my being. I no longer live to fit in, for I was born to cultivate and create. You can write this down. You can repeat it every morning. Every word spoken from the heart is a seed planted in the new garden of your soul. And if there is one final truth to carry with you, it is this: you do not need to become anyone else. You only need the courage to return to who you have always been. A Taurus soul is not an ordinary soul. You are a grounded miracle, silently building and shining in a world that so desperately needs your quiet strength. Have you ever felt the guidance of the universe, so clear it took your breath away? A dream, a sign, a person who appeared at the perfect moment? Please, share it with me in the comments. Your story may be the very light that warms another soul today. Thank you for staying. Thank you for choosing to honor yourself. Thank you for your unwavering spirit. The world needs more people like you. Now go and let your light shine without apology. A wholehearted blessing to you, dear Taurus. May you be at peace, may you be steady, and may you always, always remember the light you carry within.